Okay. So we're going to review Kappatoo. I'm just going to put on screen. I've got a review of the episode. We usually rely on Jeff for the episode summaries, but I've been a good boy today. So here we go. Kappatoo, who lives in the year 2270, has his computer scan the history files for a time twin who looks exactly like him, so he can swap places and have the time twin beat his arch enemy Sigmasix on the Hypergrid. The computer locates an identical time twin called Simon Cashmere, who lives with his parents and sister Lucy in the year 1990. Kappatoo times travel back to Simon Cashmere's bedroom and explains that the two will change places. After some brief hesitation by Simon, it is agreed that in return for Simon beating Sigmasix in the Hypergrid, Kappatoo will ace an upcoming computer test and try and convince Tracy Cotton to go out with Simon. Simon then travels to Kappatoo's time. The next morning, Kappatoo realizes how difficult it will be for him to live in the 20th century, not realizing that people move around so much and can't just particle beam to where they want. He struggles to adapt. Simon, on the other hand, is enjoying the 23rd century and enjoys Mufor's company, a girl Kappatoo is interested in, so he refuses to swap back when contacted by Kappatoo. So, what did you think of was the review pretty accurate? I mean, you added little bits, but there were sort of logical developments of it.
Yeah, it was helpful because I didn't really get the part of his explanation exactly and why he wanted to switch places in the first place. So,
yeah, he was scared of being beaten up by Sigmasix.
Yeah, well, I got that it was some sort of competition, but I didn't really understand what exactly. Well, I still don't because they haven't really explained what it is. But yeah, I got the general gist. And also, I think the other part about particle beam to where they want, like, I didn't get that part either, though I thought it was interesting for them to have, like, a lot of shows, they paint the future as like everybody's more advanced in every way, but they don't tend to take into account that thing about, like physically being more tired because they rely on all the technology. So I thought that was a good detail.
Yeah. And also there's some typology things going on as well, where it's like, I get the impression that I mean, Kappatoo does seem ENTP-ish to me, and Simon Cashmere seems a bit extroverted artisan. And so we could sort of say, if you offered somebody wanted to swap, if someone offered you the chance to swap places, Jeff, and you were 16 years old, would you take them up on their offer?
I don't know.
See what it's like 250 years in the future?
It's impossible for me to guess what at that it would, because as a teenager you're so moody and it depends on what was happening on that particular day.
Yeah.
There's probably plenty of times I would have said, okay, yeah, sure, that sounds better than anything else that's going on. But then other times I might have thought, no, can't be interrupted, whatever the super important thing that I'm doing in my life is. So.
Yeah. So yeah.
Also, it would probably depend on which of the girls I thought was hotter too, the one from the future or the one in my time. So.
All right. Well, we got in talking of hot girls. We had this is Denise Van Outen, who was listed as Denise Outen at the time, and this is how
she's spoiling the future.
Yeah. And she might be maybe a little bit, and I'm going to use that as a thumbnail. Just thought of his reaction. Okay, so we've got three sort of different viewpoints here. In that we've got Jeff, who's never seen it before, Wojtek, who saw it at the time as a kid, and who's just seen it now, and then me, who saw it as a kid, and then I saw the whole series back in February. So we've got three different angles on this. So,
and paused it and took hundreds of pictures.
Yes, took loads of pictures. So what should we? Okay. So what are your overall impressions of it, Jeff?
Overall impressions. It held my attention. So
That's big.
You know, when it ended, I was like, okay, that was good. You know, amount of time. It didn't have time to really drag. So I liked the little bits like him, you know, stopping or reversing time or whatever to mess with the kid that was being a pest, or you know, those kind of things. So it had little moments in that were enjoyable.
Oh, and I remember that was a new effect at the time in about that era, because some other programs are sort of this ability to wind things backwards. Yeah,
it definitely seems like they had a little bit more of a budget in some shows that I've seen, but some of the dialogue I didn't quite get, and I couldn't tell how much of that was me not catching it because of the accents, or how much of it was they were throwing in, like, you know, slang to try to make it already like stuff that the kid wouldn't understand. So I didn't know. So I wasn't quite sure what he said. It sounded like squealies or something like that.
Yeah. The squealies a little bit like that's Ben Steed going back to him writing some arguably sexist.
And I didn't get whether that was being used as a generic term for girls, or it was only for girls they were interested in, or what. So there's a few things like that I didn't quite pick up. But and I still didn't get, even after the second or third time that the dad said the thing, I didn't get whatever he said.
Yeah, he's even more ENTP, I reckon.
He rattled it off so fast I couldn't get what he was saying. But you know, it was like, so I got the gist of what I think the important part was I figured out like what the motivation of everybody was as soon as they, you know, said things. So even if I didn't pick up all of the words, I could get what they were basically trying to get across.
I think tranquillo is from Esperanto, and I think it's like actually a word that's sort of used in that way. And I think lustro is also a word in Esperanto. I think lustro and tranquillo might be real words.
The other thing I thought, and I don't know how much of this is just now, I'm getting old now, so it just seems to me that way, but both of the dads, like, my first impression was they looked really young, like too young to have a kid that age. But, you know, that may just be I'm old now, so it just seems that way.
Also, what you've got the actor, right? He's a little bit old to be playing, like, he's supposed to be 15 because he said born in 1975 and 1990. So the actor might be a little bit old.
I mean, and that's a really common thing in acting in general, that a lot of times there's people playing characters that are much younger than they really are.
Yeah,
so it's not unusual to have parent-child combinations where the actors themselves are much closer to each other in age. So.
And I'll say to the audience that a lot of that is because they have requirements for how much study they have to do whilst they're acting. If someone's under 18, certainly under 16, they certainly need that certain amount of time for schooling. Because I remember that was an issue on Grange Hill where all the child actors and actresses had to do about 3 hours a day schooling whilst they were recording all those scenes. So were there any moments that were amusing to you, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I mean, most of it was kind of like you were saying earlier, just it was fun, you know. Yep. So I had zero expectations because the only thing I knew about it was like that really brief clip that you played where the sound was messing up the whole time, so I couldn't even understand what they were saying. So I had zero knowledge going into it. So my only hope was like, hopefully it's entertaining, and it was. So
yeah, I like the bit where he puts the thing in his mouth, the cleaner, the tooth cleaner. Mm-hmm. I thought that was well done by him. And then and that bit when he was on the phone. Oh no, am I in the echo flooge? We could just imagine what an echo flooge is.
Right, yeah. It's fun to put those kind of little things on there because it's like it adds to the realism of the characters, and that from whatever their perspective is, you know, it'd be normal to say a thing and not explain it. But I had to say one thing though, the food, I think Star Trek has them beat on the food replicator though, because you know, they have the action where it actually looks like bacon and eggs, where a lot of these other shows where they have it all coming out like it's little squares or a cube or something, and it just doesn't have the visual appeal.
Yep. So actually, this is something we can work in a little bit of typology, because I know that. So all these words that Ben Steed came up with, like, or adapted, like tranquillo, lustro, and all these. Now, as an artisan, you like the way the words sound. what did you think about because I think echo flute sounds quite good. What did you think about the sounds of these like terminologies and stuff that they came up with?
I liked the way they sounded.
Very good. There we go. I mean, I certainly like echo flute.
I did. I think it shows somebody, in the writing that realized that probably threw out the words, bounced them off people, was like, how does this sound? And kind of just tried saying the things and sound and how, whether they sound cool or not, or sound funny or, it makes me always think of the Simpsons thing with Krusty the Clown when he talks about why he's been so successful, and he says the key to comedy isn't dirty words; it's words that sound dirty, like muckluck.
And like, even the stuff that's on his wall, Simon's wall, like stereotypical, like cars, Rambo, football, sport, like typical artisan sort of stuff for Simon. And then you even had Kappatoo saying, "Oh, I'm not into that physical stuff, but when it comes to brains." So it's like, and he's also a little bit cocky as well. So I do sort of peg him as a cocky ENTP that's prepared to take these kind of risks and might have the kind of mouth.
I tend to reserve, judgment on those type of things, as you know. So I didn't see anything in the first episode where I would immediately pin somebody down to any certain type, because there's just not enough information about any of them for me. You're operating with the knowledge of future episodes, so it probably colors the way you look at them. Whereas first impression, there wasn't anything where I was like, oh, this is just automatically something that you'd only hear from this type of person. So,
right. So, did anything happen with you, Jeff, where anything sort of like broke your flow? Because I know sometimes you watch something like someone will do something that it'll sort of like throw you out of it, throw you out of the world because they sort of do something that doesn't make sense. But I get the impression that sort of didn't happen for you. This just sort of went along with it.
It was kind of, like I said, the only thing was just, I didn't catch all of the dialogue, but I mean, it wasn't to the point where I was sitting there going, I have no idea what's going on. So as long as I can figure out what's happening still, then it doesn't really matter that I missed some words.
Did you actually find it when Kappatoo wasn't using weird slang? Did you find him easier to understand than Simon?
No, they're probably about the same.
Okay.
That's the thing is, it's funny to me that you drew this distinction in their personality types, because other than that one line you said about him saying he more about brains and physical stuff, whatever, it was hard to really see much difference. They both were kind of generic to me in terms of what they did. There wasn't anything that immediately struck me as some huge difference between, which is probably why, I don't know, they painted as him. He just picked him because he looked like him and he was in the right time or whatever. But it kind of makes it more believable if they're closer to each other in personality, because they're not, they don't become obviously acting weird, despite the something the experience of being like 200 something years away from your time. So maybe any flaw in that, it would just be how quickly that they adjusted to things, whereas they might be a little bit more messed up by the surroundings. Of course, with the real Simon, he had the computer kind of helping him with stuff, so it was a little bit easier on his side probably.
Yep. So, what about for you, Wojtek? What was, first of all, please tell us what it was like, your sort of like memories of the series, but without giving any spoilers away, of like, and how you sort of first saw it and how old you were and that sort of stuff.
I saw it first 1992, maybe. So at least 25 years ago, I think, in the early 90s, as a kid, 10, maybe 12 years old, I guess, tops. So, I remember it fondly, and for some reason, I remember like the whole thing, it seems. Like I thought I would have like forgotten a lot about it because my episodic memory is so bad. I barely remember what I did for my 10th birthday, but I remember the series scene by scene. And I only watched it once. It's not like I watched it repeatedly or something. So, and I'm surprised at how it corresponds to my memory of it. It isn't like I don't think it's silly or worse executed than I remember it. It's exactly as I remember it. It's fun. It's like a fun, a bit stupid teenager sci-fi show with a lot of great ideas. Like they all this gadget, all this jokes about what you can do with technology, like he has all this power with his technology, like Kappatoo from the future, what he can do, and what Simon, his time twin, can do in the future, because he's from the past, so he's of course like physically strong and tougher. And what I did like. Is I didn't think about this back then, is when the masterclass computer said that he doesn't have a place, but he has like hyperlinks everywhere or something like this. And so they already like foresaw the cloud, like cloud computing. And this is because it would be normal for this time period to have like the computer be a physical thing, like it's in his room or something, a giant computer, the computer core, and something like this. But no, he's like in the cloud. I found it interesting, and I wonder like how. Okay, this might go into spoiler territory. So. So we no, but he already said that this is like a very good computer, and I wonder like why does Kappatoo has this very good computer? Is it because his dad is rich? Is it how does this work? But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they sort of explain. They go into that a little bit in it's sort of like he wants a computer that's a little bit more independent in thought, a little bit more creative, sort of thing, and then somebody else having a sort of like a more subservient kind of computer that's not as smart and just does as it's told.
But I don't think it's it is the capability of the computer itself. I don't think it's like the personality that they
and
for some reason Kappatoo has like the, I don't know, he has the top end hardware.
Well, certain things happen with the computer that throughout series 1 and 2, so we can sort of speculate when the time comes. Yeah, but
so is it supposed to be that he has some sort of technology on him that tells him the cat's thoughts, or was that he's supposed to be can read it with his mind or something?
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. You know, sort of like that he had that wrist thing. So Kappatoo, like I said, he like if we go with him as ENTP, like it's like we could say there's no evidence against him being an ENTP. He might just like have the extra stuff, like the extra little stuff on the. See, you imagine what ENTP is alive.
Are you trying to say ENTPs can read the mind of cats?
Well, they might if they got the gadgetry. I'm sort of trying to.
Well, that's what I was asking. Was it supposed to be that he had technology on him that was doing that, or that?
It looks like he's got above average technology in that. Because I'm sort of thinking because he had that thing on his wrist, did other people have that kind of thing? And it's sort of these things that sort of develops.
This classroom too, by the way, I immediately am thinking like Harry Potter or something. It looks like we're in a castle.
Well, it's a genuine school. It is a genuine school in the Northeast.
Okay. Yeah. I believe you. I just never seen a school classroom that looks like that. So to me, it struck me as it's like, is this the Hogwarts school or what?
I'll go back a bit. Yeah. So have you got some more to say, Wojtek? I mean, because you sort of had a tangent based on the computer.
Yeah, I mean, I remember this armored computer very well because I watched it with my brother. We watched like stuff like this together, and we were of course dreaming about having an armored computer like this that can do a lot of stuff and whatnot. And yeah, but I mean, it's just a magic wand. It's a magic wand that can do magic. all kinds of stuff. You can talk to
Yeah.
cats, you can reverse time, you can all the tricks he does. And what
So it's
what I
more
was
like
surprised
Captain
at,
N, the Game Master,
yeah,
where Kevin had the Nintendo controller and could do anything with it that he needed at the time.
Yeah, or like the sonic screwdriver, or the
Exactly.
Sword of Omens in Thundercats, where it can end up doing everything for lazy writing.
And that's the point. There doesn't seem to be like any rules what it can and can't do, because remember when he tried to talk back to the future, he couldn't just do it with the armband computer. He had to do some weird hacking with the home telephone and couldn't like see him.
Oh, I think they're pretty good with that, though. From what, because I watched it in February, they're pretty good at not having these sort of like easy solutions with the wristband in future episodes. So it's pretty well, because again, it's written by Ben Steed, and he wrote two good Blake Seven stories. He did Harvest the Kairos, that I really like because of the duality-ish relationship with Servalan and Jarvik. Then he did the one Moloch, and then he did that one called Power or something that wasn't so good. But all those three had good ideas. And so maybe Ben Steed himself is the kind of person that was technologically, and this is like 10 years after. So he's probably like been written a lot of science fiction, I suppose, Ben Steed. A lot of short stories.
If I recall correctly, I don't think I liked any of those episodes.
No, you didn't. I like two of them. But yeah, we had like,
I don't really remember for sure. I remember the one that you hyped the most. I was like, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like as
I
good.
shouldn't have hyped it. That's classic mistake with Jeff. It's like just don't hype, because don't hype anything.
It is. Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot better, and I didn't know anything about it. It's almost everything is better if you don't know anything about it going into it.
Right.
I can't imagine there being something that would be better because I knew something in advance about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you got
I wonder about the legal side of things, like if the computer says time travel is the most illegal thing in the universe. I mean, all of this is like, of course, made for jokes. Like, it's just, oh boy, what did I get into? But like, I always think, okay, but how does this work? Like, so the computer.
Yeah, technically, something's either legal or illegal. There's no such thing as most illegal.
Yeah.
Well, there are degrees, Jeff. I mean, but we're not going to get into law. But yeah.
Well, my first thought is like, who in the universe enforces that? Like, is there some sort of universe police that is the time travel is?
Well, I'm not saying anything.
Well, good. I'm just telling you the questions that popped in my head. I'm not expecting you to answer them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but I was wondering more about data security. Like, so the computer isn't telling on him. Like, the computer keeps his secrets. So there's no like this computer has the power to time travel. So they give people tools that can do time travel, but like there's no mechanism that prohibits. I mean, a 13-year-old kid can break the law, like the most sacred law, the most illegal stuff, just by using his home computer, his PC. And
yeah, but he could be an ENTP super genius, though. I mean, it's like if we could.
I think this is implied. Like Kappatoo is a super genius. Like he, do you remember the girl that plays this chess thing against him?
Yeah.
What looks like this Hypergrid, like the game that they are playing later. They see like renderings of this, like the real, like the physical game. And she says this is the first time she beats Kappatoo, and we see that he like aces this test in the 20th century Earth school. So yeah, he's supposed to be a hyper genius or something. So yeah, that explains it.
Yeah, and Yeah, like I said, there's stuff I can say, but it's like it's from episodes, and so they do a pretty good job of developing things. It's hard to know what to say about it. Oh, it was yeah. What I had a strong memory is what I remember as a kid is I do remember that first episode. It was like because it's like it really sets up the premise well, and usually a show will sort of do it as one or the other. Either someone from the future is living now, or they'll do someone now living in the future. But doing it as both, it's sort of like it sort of doubles up, and I like that contrast with both of them. So, for example, with Back to the Future, a lot of the time it's like he's in the past, and then for the second movie they'll go into the future. But I like doing them at the same time and the interplay between them. So I remember some things I remembered was yes, there's a piece of jargon. Oh, I won't say that because they'll probably mention it in the next episode. There's a piece of jargon that they use, and I don't wish to spoil it for Jeff. I already mentioned it to Wojtek a while ago. So that's just one of the things that I remember at the time being amused by one of the bits of terminology that they came up with. Interesting ideas. There's getting them into jeopardy. Yeah, they don't over rely on the wristband. They don't over rely on that. Because I think the writer would have enough discipline not just for it to become the easy wristband show. And sometimes there's issues with the actual wristband, so it doesn't work all the while. So that sort of helps. It's like in Doctor Who where they got rid of the sonic screwdriver or take away the thing that they can use as a solution. Now, where for me the negative of it is the performance of this actor. I have to sort of like try hard to like block it. Sometimes his acting's like sometimes with the comedic acting, like when certain lines he did it as well, like oh mind the echo flute and like certain things and certain comedic things he does well, but there's also other bits in his performance where it's like he can take me out of it sometimes with his performance. But that would be about the only sort of downside. And he didn't really go on to do much else, this actor, Simon Nash. And it's a great part. So, yeah, it's a great part.
Did he act in anything else before or after that you are aware of?
Well, I'll go check now.
Did he have a career, or was this like a one time?
I don't think so. I don't think he had much of a career after this. But I can actually, whilst I have a look, I can find out some extra information about because the Wikipedia entry has some spoilers on it, but I'll be able to pick out the information about who made it and that sort of stuff. Right, so okay. Right, okay, let's see. Well, at least he's got an entry on Wikipedia. So it was who made it? Okay. The show premiered in 1990, and then the follow-up series Kappatoo 2. And I remember being amused by that title, Kappatoo 2. It was made by Worldwide International TV for 20th television. So literally called Worldwide International TV. Filming took place, well, not filming, video recording at Heaton Manor School. Simon Nash. Well, he stopped acting in 98. He didn't do much. I mean, basically after Kappatoo, he did. Actually, I can show the screen for this. Stop sharing. Share screen. Window. That one. So there we go. So not much. It's not like when we look at Yancey Butler.
Brazil.
In fact,
Yeah.
if we look at Yancey Butler, then let's have a look at Yancey Butler for comparison. So, for instance, she was about 22 when she did. Weird thing is, she might have been younger than him. She might have been younger than. Wait a minute. When was he born? When was he born? Simon, what? 1972, 48. 1972, 1990. Oh, so he would have been 18. He would have been 18. So she was she's only a few years older than him. So if you look at Yancey Butler, though, all this news, and that's now. Again, television now. So she's like done a lot of stuff. Is that movie? That's television. That's pretty good for her. And when was she born? 1970. So yeah, she was 22 when she did Man and Machine. There we go. So hopefully you can join us for that, Wojtek, once we've done Kappatoo. Give Man and Machine a chance. Because she's very good as the gynoid.
When was the series made, like Man and Machine?
Well, it came out in 1992. So I don't want to give too much away because you got the synopsis, but there. Only 9 episodes, but
early 90s sci-fi. Is it like trash sci-fi or is it like?
Hey, hang on a moment. No, it's not. It's a little bit too much. It's like a little bit too much detective stuff for my taste. But the acting is good, and you know what I'm like when it comes to acting. I mean, David Andrews is good, and Yancey Butler's very good as the gynoid. Yeah. Right then, I don't know what more should we do. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this.
I like the pacing of it. Like it was well executed. There wasn't like scenes that dragged on. They were very efficient at setting up the premise. It starts out with him looking through like this was like time twin Tinder or I don't know. So, okay, yeah, this and then they didn't spend much time with the decision to switch places. Like not at all. Like they even cut away from this.
Yeah.
Like he already was down with switching places when we cut back to the scene. So he just like rehearsed the information that Kappatoo gave him, what he has to do in the future and whatnot. And it's cute. Like it's because like as a 14-year-old, I don't know. Yeah, I would be down with it. Like
I can imagine some 14-year-olds, like especially if they're extroverted artisans. Think, yeah, okay, I'll give that a go. I'll see what the future's like.
Yeah. And it's I mean a lot of like time period jokes like the Rambo poster and when he puts on the clothing he
the tie
deal with the tie and the clothes themselves and it wasn't boring at any place and they put in all this jokes, all this technology jokes all the time, so it doesn't get boring, I guess. And all the scenes were quite short. I mean, it's before we lost Jeff.
Yeah. Hopefully it's back. So, Wojtek, you can let me know. What does poke mean on a computer? What does poke mean?
Poke?
Yeah, it said poke.
Poke?
Poke. Poke. He said press the poke command. You're a supercomputer person. Even you don't know what poke means.
I mean, poking, that was like a thing in social networks. You can poke someone.
No, it was like, no, let's have a look. Poke, let's find out. This is relevant to the episode. Poke computer, that was the poke command.
I don't even remember it when this happened, when he...
Oh, here we go. It's something peek and poke. Is it peek and poke? Is it peek and poke command? Ah, here we go. You might remember it. You might know. So even Wojtek doesn't know what that means.
I don't.
I certainly don't. But I mean, there used to be a thing. Peek and poke command. How about this?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was before my time.
Yeah, when we got kittens, my father wanted to name them Peek and Poke.
That's a very NT joke.
But we compromised. We compromised because we didn't like that. We wanted to name one of them, so instead he combined the two, and so one of them's name was Pioki, combination of Peek and Poke.
Oh.
And the other one ended up being Dana, named after Dana Sterling from Robotech.
What was the type of your father?
He's an INTJ.
INTJ, okay. Yeah.
And a lot of computer programming experience. So,
Yeah. I think Westinghouse. Yeah. PhD in computing, I think. Yeah. Anyhow, so I don't know what else to say. I really don't.
well, then it's probably time to wrap it up.
Yeah, it's probably time to wrap up. It's like these reviews don't have to be 2 hours each. Right then, so I will end the broadcast, and we'll come back next week, hopefully, for episode 2 of Kappatoo. So then, I'm just going to end the broadcast.
Oh, sounds good.
Oh, yes. What do I give it out of 10?
Already having enough.
I'll give it 9 out of 10. I'll take a point off for the acting. What about you two?
Yeah. For what it is, it's perfect.
I'd say I can't tell because the audio keeps on breaking up for both of you, so I figure it's probably my internet. But anyway, if you can hear me, I'd give it an 8 because it wasn't like spectacular, but it was just fun and enjoyable. So there was, like I said before, there wasn't any moments where I was bored by it or anything. So it was fun. It was good.
But by the standards of the Blake 7 reviews, that's very high because very few episodes got an 8 from Jeff in Blake 7.
Yeah, only one.
Can we define the scale?
Only my favorite Blake 7 episode got an 8.
Wow, that tells you something.
Ben, is there like what define the scale? What would it be like in this context? Like
for me, 10 is like perfect. Can't find anything wrong with it.
Yeah, but
for me.
I mean, okay. This is not, I don't know, Battlestar Galactica. So compared to Battlestar Galactica, this is like 2. I don't know.
Oh, it depends. Like if you're talking Battlestar Galactica, when it's an episode that focuses on Gaius Baltar, it's not that good. But we're doing a little bit of digression here with the scores, but I'm sort of judging it by its own thing. I mean, but even then, Battlestar Galactica, like it can have some like Battlestar Galactica had one of the worst episodes of any series I've ever seen, which is when Starbuck has a fight against Apollo, and Apollo is like massively built, and then the way they do the fight, where they're just punching each other, it's completely unrealistic. Yeah. The only way I hated that. The Unfinished Business extended episode.
but you can analyze stuff like this in a series like Battlestar Galactica. You can break down the visual level. You can break down the acting and maybe like the plot, how well they move forward the plot and stuff like this. I mean, I'm having trouble to like.
That is difficult.
Honestly,
it's difficult
like,
because there's a nostalgia factor. But there's also a nostalgia factor for me with Battlestar Galactica because I watched the original Battlestar Galactica as a kid. Not 1978, I'm not that bloody old, but when they showed it, they re-showed it, and I watched it as a kid. When they showed it in like the 80s, Battlestar Galactica. And then then I had the nostalgia factor when I watched Battlestar. And I watched the second Battlestar Galactica when it actually showed. Like, for instance, when they showed the miniseries in 2003 on Sky TV, I watched it in 2003. I watched the first when it was actually on, and I sort of got it from the beginning and sort of following it along. So there was that nostalgia factor for me. What did it for me with Battlestar Galactica was the quality of the acting, really good quality act. Apart from Jamie Bamber, and just James Callis just playing an NTP character, but as a comedy genius with the sorts of things he could do and be funny and real at the same time. And then other characters not so much, but also you've got it's different heads. It's like because it's like. That series, Battlestar Galactica, was like made for me at the right age of somebody who watched it. And it's like, okay, I've got the kiddies version and then I've got the grown-up version, Battlestar Galactica. So maybe if they redid a version of Kappatoo for, say, people who are like 30 plus, that would be
based on acting performance version of Kappatoo, right?
Yeah, it would have to be like. So maybe a better comparison would be to say to compare Kappatoo with the. It might be to compare Kappatoo with the original Battlestar Galactica, or with. I mean, Kappatoo could be redone.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice kid sci-fi version. I can't rate it. I can't rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. It's alright, I guess.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Like, I mean, it's difficult.
It is what it is, and it's great. So,
I mean, it's
okay.
Yeah, he's not back yet.
He just wrote that his connection is too bad.
Yeah, he's probably got some bad weather in because the atmospherics affect his connectivity.
So, how are we supposed to rate the series? On which criteria? Like episodes, the episodes.
Okay. You're getting into this whole thing of reviewing stuff just as I'm reading a book on literary theory and like how do we rate stuff, like in deconstruction and like various theories of literary criticism. And one of them would be like, say, mimesis, how real is it? And that, but we're not doing it like that. We're going to do it based on our own. It's like, is it fun? Do we enjoy it? Do we like the ideas? Okay. Is it a fun concept? I like the premise. I really like the premise where, as I said, sometimes it's like you get 2 for 1 because it's like someone's in the future. Here, you've got someone in the future and you've got someone from the future in the past. 2 for 1.
Yeah. I mean, I like the premise. I like the world building. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's a nice setup. Okay, then let's wrap it up. I give it a thumbs up.
Right. Okay, that's enough. A thumbs up.
Let's just simple it down. Thumbs up. I don't know. Meh or thumbs down.
Yeah. I'll give it a thumbs up. I think you're right. Thumbs up. And I think the nostalgia factor bump gives it extra points for me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm going to end the broadcast. We'll still be able to chat.